What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Love for the Game. We have a truly special video for you guys today. It is about none other than the greatest scorer of all time. I'll give you a second to think about who you think that might be. I hinted at it in a previous video. All right, I am talking about Kevin Durant, KD, the Slim Reaper, my goat. Now he is my favorite player of all time, and in my opinion, you know, the greatest scorer to ever play the game of basketball. Now I don't think he's the greatest player, but I do think he's the purest scorer there's ever been. Um, you could say there's flaws in his game. Defensively, he's not as at the highest level. He's still a good rim protector, and his length really, really helps him. Um, but this video is about his excellence and what he does well. So I don't want to complain too much. I'll make a separate video talking about his flaws because he does have flaws. Um, but not very many to be honest with you. In my opinion, you guys are welcome to talk about what he can improve on, and I'd love to talk about it. But yeah, so I want to start off. Obviously, the team hopping. I get it. I hate it. He played for Phoenix. And as much as I love KD, I hate that they had to give up Mikal Bridges. Golden State, he won a chip, built one of the greatest teams, if not the greatest teams, of all time. But to me, that just comes from him wanting to play basketball and wanting to play at different levels and with experience the game with different people. I think KD is the embodiment of basketball. I think his love for the game, I think his love for the game really is, at the highest level, and I think that's why he is so great. I think, you're not born with greatness. It's something you have to work for every day, and it's really something he was obsessed with, and you have to be obsessed to be great. And I think KD is the perfect example of that. He's alone, no girlfriend, no fam. Like it's him and his mom. And basketball, like that to me is just remarkable. Um, Man, it's hard to think about like players not being obsessed with basketball and being in the NBA. Um, but I think the greatest players of all time have to be completely like engulfed in what they do. Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and I do like LeBron. I love LeBron, and I'm not going to deny his talent. I don't think he's as obsessed as he could be, and I think that is held him back. That has held him back from leveling up his game even higher, but not taking away from LeBron at all. He's still, I mean, number one or number two. I feel like there's no arguing that. Um, but as far as efficiency, I don't think anyone beats Kevin Durant. In a one-on-one, I think he's unguardable. I think he's the biggest mismatch like the NBA has ever seen. Wemby struggles against Kevin Durant. Giannis struggles against Kevin Durant. The best defenders in the world will tell you they can't guard Kevin Durant. Kobe Bryant retired without figuring out how to guard Kevin Durant. If we want to talk about, points, KD made a career off shooting the mid-range, and he's the fifth highest scoring player in the NBA's history, and he's going to be within the next season he'll pass Kobe and probably be number 4. He just passed Michael Jordan. And he's shooting a ridiculous percentage. He shoots, I believe it's 49%, 49.7. I want to say is his career field goal percentage. So he's averaging 50 from the field, which I don't know if you guys realize like how unbelievable that is. 50% from the field, no matter, he's doubled. He's been doubled for 3/4 of his career, and that's like that's not giving him the benefit of the doubt. So shooting 50% means if he shoots 30 shots a game, he's making 15 out of 30 while being doubled, which is ridiculous. And people don't appreciate what he adds to teams, meaning not just scoring alone. Not just scoring alone is what I was going to say. And then my phone overheated. So we came inside, found a new little spot, and we're back at it. So what I was saying was, what KD adds to the team is not just scoring alone, right? Because of how good he is, right, he gets doubled and then brings in the other defenders, which opens up so much for his team. That's why it was so good that's why it was so good in Golden State. Now, let's not forget who he had on his team, right? But like, people don't realize, again, I've talked about it in other videos, people want to look at stats, right? Stats. Now, KD is a great player to look at stats for because his stats are remarkable. But it's not all on the stat line, right? So you don't realize what he does off the ball or what he does with the ball that helps his team even when he's not scoring. He could, he's a 7-footer, 6'9", but he's a 7-footer who shoots 50% while he's double teamed, right? He could shoot over his defender every play of the game and average 45 points a game. But that's not going to get him championships. That's not going to let them win in playoffs, right? So what he does great is know when to swing, and just his presence alone is what impacts the way that the team plays defense against them, right? Him being on the court. A great example, the U.S. Olympics last year, a great example is them playing Serbia. KD dominated that game. And he had the Serbia coach fuming because they couldn't stop KD. Now all the pressure in the following games go to Kevin Durant. Or even that same game, after halftime, they go to Kevin Durant. Now they still can't stop him because he's Kevin Durant, right? But because the team is so focused on how do we stop this guy, then you let the other great players around him be successful. I think he's done that well for so many teams, and he's been fortunate enough to play with lots of great players. I think in Houston, it's going to work really well. Sengun is really developing, becoming one of the better centers in the NBA, or one of the best, I should say. And then you got Amen Thompson, who's the most athletic player, one of the most athletic players the NBA has ever seen, with a lot of raw talent. So he just opens up a lot for the team. And now I don't want to just talk about, his play specifically, but I want to talk about, his percentages. So I mentioned the 50% from the field, right? 49.7 is what I'm almost positive it's at right now, his career percentage. Now his 3-point percentage is also unheard of. And then you remember, oh wait, he's not a guard, he's a 7-footer, right? He's shooting 39 point, I'm not sure, 39.6, 39.4. He's shooting almost 40%, right? And I think the league average is 32. That might even be high. 33, I think, might be what it's at, but it might be lower right now. I'd have to double check on that afterwards. Now, look at the other greats, right? What did Jordan shoot from 3? Now, the 3-point line wasn't in his, in the game when he came into it. So that's the style of play when he was in there was different. But LeBron's 3-point percentage It's not 40%, right? And I'm not taking anything away from LeBron because we know what he can do on the court. But I'm just talking about, being able to exceed at every level offensively. I don't think there is a flaw in KD's game, right? You saw the drive game early in his career, and he still goes to it. He can still put guys on a poster purely because of his size, which is so great. That's what's so great about his play, right? His play style. It's really unmatched. Handles like a guard, but he's so lengthy that it's hard to time. He spams that double cross and then hits you with a hezzy, but you have to jump because his shot is so pure. Then he gets inside of that mid range, his leg game, like really floaters. Like what? I'd love for you talk in the comments. Like what offensively? Now there are flaws in this game, right? Defensively, but what offensively can he not do? Now, along with the 3-point percentage, what else does he shoot? His free throw percentage. I think his career is 89 or 90. He's been in the 50, 40, 90 club, I think 3, 4, 5 times. Like what other players in history have done that, right? Steve Nash. Shout out Steve Nash, Phoenix Sun. And then you want to talk about, bringing home the gold for his country. Who has the most Olympic points? Kevin Durant. Not Michael Jordan. Not LeBron. Not Kobe. Right? So you think of all these guys, but his name is never in that conversation. But if we're talking scorers, there's nobody in the NBA who shuts him down. Like, there's guys, even like, LeBron. LeBron was shut down by Kawhi. Jordan was shut down. Kobe was shut down. Now, these great players they're gonna find ways to score regardless. But there's nothing you can do to Kevin Durant to take away from his game. He doesn't notice you. He does not realize you're there. He's pulling it regardless. And I'll quote Kevin Durant, I'm gonna shoot it till my arm falls off. Like, that's what he does. Which is what makes him the GOAT of scoring, the GOAT offensive player. He's unstoppable, right? Oh, man, I could go on and on. I think the video is getting close to 20 minutes, so I don't want to go too high above it, unless that's something you guys want to see. So I think I'm gonna end it here. But I think this is gonna be a video that'll have part 2, part 3, maybe not next video, but please leave a comment and let me know what you guys think. I'd love to answer any questions or talk about other scores. But yeah, I appreciate you guys listening. If you're still here, sorry about the change in scenery. But yeah, thank you. I'll see you next time.